Okay. So, hello everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday night training. Yes, it's all right. I can see some people eating their dinner. I just stuffed mine down. So, some new faces on here. So, hello, welcome to our Tuesday night's training. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Sarah Dudley. I'm your regional vice president, and if I haven't met you, I look forward to meeting you very, very soon. I'm going to get stuck in tonight because I've got a few things that I want to get through. I have done just a couple of slides. Don't judge me. Slides are not my jam. Okay, so you steady is on there. All right, there's not allowed to be any judgment. I want to just share. Oh yeah, if everyone mutes themselves as well, because it can be a little bit distracting when we're talking. But yeah, I am going to share a couple of slides. Let me have a look. Share screen. Now let's go. Okay. My internet's quite slow as well. Can everyone see that? Yeah. Has that shared okay? Yep, beautiful. Yeah. All righty. Okay, so just a couple of things that I wanted to go through. We will start here. So as always, the very first thing that, oh, Nadine, hello, I haven't seen you in ages. So yeah, one of the things that we want to touch on just really briefly at the start, every single week, every single time we talk, is just how we onboard a new consultant. The reason that I always want to go over that is I just want you guys to be so confident in having people join your business that how to start someone, because if you're not going to feel confident in asking people to join if you're thinking, should I actually have no idea what to do with someone when they start. And as always, you have your mentor there to help you every step of the way, but it's just having that confidence yourself. Now, in our Hustle and Heart team page on Facebook, all of this is in the guides. So we have a guide there. There's a getting started guide, and that will have all the information of what happens when someone joins your business. Okay, so what do we do when someone joins? Most of you that have just joined will know this off by heart. So we help you set up first of all, we put the registration through to become a consultant. We help the person set up a household account. So as we know, that's how we shop, under a household account, so that we're always maximizing the free gift and the free shipping, and then getting the commission back into our account. We send them the new consultant guide to look over. We send them the new consultant bingo. That is optional. It's up to you whether you want to do that. And then what is not optional is booking in First Steps training within the first 48 hours. Okay, so we want to do that really quickly. They've just joined, people are excited. We don't want to wait a week. We want to get straight in there with the First Steps training and get them to start earning. We want people to start making money straight away. Okay, once people start seeing money come into their account, they're like, okay, like they really start to think, okay, I can see this, I'm getting paid, because as we know, we get paid within the first week with commissions. Introduce them to the relevant team pages and add in those bank account details so they do actually get their pay. So again, all of that is in the Getting Started guide. When it comes to the First Steps training and launches, I really want those to be hosted by an area manager or above, depending on who you've joined. There will be exceptions, like if you've got a really strong district manager, then that is okay. But I guess the idea is, with regards to duplication, we don't want to get to the point where, someone might start and then they have a few people join and we've got consultants just randomly doing, First Steps training. Really, by the time you've gotten to area manager, you've got a pretty rock solid vision. You're very knowledgeable within the business. And, we want to make sure that the new people are getting the best possible start with the vision, with the launches, with the First Steps training. So as I've said, there will always be exceptions to the rule if there is a strong district, but in general, area managers and above, again, depending on who the people have joined. Okay, so next we have got also a little bit of, this is quite an exciting slide though, isn't it, really? So gifting. We do have a few sort of guides when it comes to gifting. And again, the reason for this is we all start this business coming from different backgrounds and with different, financial situations. And we... Thanks, babe. Oh, someone's unmuted. And we want to keep it fair, because we don't want one district manager to be getting gold bling jewelry and another district manager to be getting a book. Do you know what I mean? So they'd be like, oh, why did she get that? And, so we really want to try and keep it fair. And I think, you know, we've tried to keep the gifting. I mean, obviously, again, it's entirely up to you what you want to do, but this is just a guide that we sort of try to stick to. So when someone becomes a district manager, you can choose, you can give them a personal development book, or maybe you want to give them send them a bunch of flowers or give them a bunch of flowers. And that's, you know, that's for the level of district manager, I feel like that's a really fair, and, you know, it's just an acknowledgement really of saying congratulations on reaching the first level of management. I always do a nice card as well. Then when you get to area manager, the gifting is, again, you can choose between jewelry or Peter Alexander pajamas. We find that they're really popular, and that's, you know, again, a really, really nice gift to receive. Regional vice president, that's Britt. I don't know if you're on yet, but I think you were driving home from Pilates, but that's a little photo from when we went shopping at Tiffany's when Britt became a regional vice president. So yeah, Tiffany's is generally what we do. So we take your regional vice president to Tiffany's and they go shopping and pick out something that they like. There's a saying in Arbonne, never forget where your paycheck comes from. And as you move up the ranks, if you're promoting people, like if someone's, you know, in your team promoting at the level of regional vice president, they are bringing you a regional vice president team. And at that stage, you can afford to take them shopping at Tiffany's. So, you know, depending on where you're at now, you might look at that and think, holy shit. But we never want people to think, oh my God, I can't afford that, or I don't want to do that. So again, that's why we keep them at a certain level. And by the time you reach these levels in your business, you can absolutely afford to be purchasing these things for someone in your team. And then the national vice president level, which I'm sure plenty of you are going, yes, please. So when you become a national vice president, Arbonne pays for you and your partner to go to Maui every year. So it's in January and it's completely paid for. And when you the national vice president above you will take you shopping at labels, and yeah, basically you can choose a bag, a jewelry, whatever your heart desires. Can I make sure that you have music? Here we go. All right. So yeah, so that's super, super exciting. So not only do you get to go to Maui, but you get to go designer label shopping and yeah, go on a bit of shopping spree. If it's not your jam, like I said, you can get jewelry, whatever your heart desires. Okay, so that is that one. All right, and this is just a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. I guess a couple of tools that help me with my business. So the first one here is this Remind Me app. This is actually just a little screenshot of what I've got in mine. So this is a free app, and you can have different, like these have all got, when you open them up, they've all got different things in them. So I don't know, like if everyone's brain is like mine, I'm quite highly ADHD, but I have like little thoughts pinging all the time, right? And I could be like in the shops pushing my trolley and I'd be like, oh, need to do this, or oh, I need to message that person, or oh, you know, and it's not always something you can action right in that very moment. You might have a different way of like doing this yourself. Maybe you put it in your notes app, but then I just end up with so many notes. I find this is awesome because I have different things for, like if it's food shopping, I, you know, open it up and I add it to the list, and it's dumped from my brain, so I'm not worrying about it. And it's the same with my business. Sometimes it might be, like I said, I could be at the shops or doing something or whatever, and not have time to action the thought. It might be, oh shit, I needed to follow up Tegan about the samples I sent her. Or, oh my God, I meant to follow up Corinna with the hair care, or whatever it might be. You can just pop it into the Remind Me app in your phone, and then go back to it when you do sit down to do your DMO or work your business. And that means that when you sit down to run your business, you don't sit there and go, oh shit, okay, what do I actually do? You know, like if you're, especially when you're newer, you might sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna, you know, block out half an hour, and then you're like, okay, so what do I actually do? So if you've got all these little ideas, you might listen to a podcast, or you could be talking to a friend, or whatever it might be. You know, it's a great way to just pop them in there. As I said, you don't have to constantly think about it. You know that you can just action it when you're ready. And what I love about this, and when you do it, you just press that little thing and it disappears. Yeah, so basically as you work through your list, you press it and it's gone, yeah, from the list. So I quite like that. It's quite yeah, it's quite good. So just put ideas in it. Again, if you see people making reels, or you get real ideas, or something for a story, or you see something that you like, pop it in the little list to action when you get, you know, when you get the chance. And if anyone's got any other tools like this, like, absolutely feel free to share. Okay, I've got to make sure I'm mindful of time because I want, yeah, I'm good. All right, and so the next one is creating little folders in your phone with before and afters and testimonials. Okay, so basically, yeah, in your photo albums, I'm sure you guys are all across, you know, you've got your favorites and all your bits and pieces. Whether it's you see someone else's that you think is amazing, whether you're in one of the groups, and this is why it's also really, really awesome to be and powerful to be in the groups. We run 30-day groups. We run 7-day groups. When we open them up, even if you're not doing it, or even if you don't have a client doing it, you are still welcome to join in that group. You are going to get people talking about how much better they feel, how much weight they've lost, how much energy they have. They're going to share photos. They're going to share food, you know. So all of that tells a story, and that is a story that you can share on social media. Obviously, if you're taking photos of people, just don't use their faces or get permission for that. But in general, something like this is absolutely fine. But yeah, if you've got that folder, and then every now and then when you go to do a post on the Green Gut Glow, or you go to do a post on the protein, you've got shake photos, you've got waffle photos, you've got before and after photos, you've got testimonials. You might want to use it for a reel. And if you just build that over time, then again, even when you have consultants join your team, you can share that with them as well, because they obviously don't have that as yet. So just, I guess, being mindful whenever you see things that you like, or if you create something really cool yourself, putting it into a folder so you can access it at any time and yeah, use it again. Okay, and then moving over here, I'm going to talk about time blocking. So there's a couple of things. This is actually my schedule when I was still doing my personal training. So I had my red for my PTs, my green were my events with Arbonne, other stuff. So yeah, anyway, it was pretty hectic. All sorts of things in there. I've got my little colonic at the top. That's beautiful. There you go, everyone. Have a little bit of a look at that. But what I will say is it is so, like, when you map it out, you can see when you're working your business. And if you're a busy person, if you work full time, well, everyone's busy, right? I don't know anyone that just says, oh, I've got so much free time on my hands. You need to be organized, and you need to know when you're going to be working your business. So looking at your calendar, and once you'll find you've got a lot of repetition. So if you start, this is just a Google Calendar. It is absolutely free. You don't need to buy anything fancy. You can color code it, and you'll find that if by the time you put in your working hours, whatever it is that you currently do, if you've got the gym or any other things that you have, you know, week by week, you can then look at that calendar and be like, okay, so when am I doing my 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour of Arbonne, whatever, you know, whatever time blocks you're working with. And you can slot it in and make an appointment with yourself and keep that appointment, because that is the one thing about this business. You know, it is amazing that we work for ourselves and we can run it when we want to, but sometimes it, you know, becomes the last thing that we do, because we do everything else. We keep all the other appointments, and then it gets to the end of the day and we go, shit, another day's gone by and I actually haven't ran my business. So if you make that appointment with yourself, you can know that, look, on my lunch break at 12 p.m. till 12:30, I'm sitting down and I'm working on my business. And it's actually, like, you can think about Arbonne a lot, but when you actually sit down and do that, it is so good, because you can get it off your brain. You can do what you need to do, and then you're like, sweet, tick, and I've done it. You've done it for the day. So the other thing to really be mindful of, and I'm really big on this, is knowing when you're at your best to run your business. So everybody is different. I am a morning person. Anyone that knows me will get the 5 and 6 a.m. texts or voice notes, and I'm like, woo, like, yeah, ready to take on the day. After 2 p.m., get me in the evening, I am not a vibe. I am not a vibe. I'm not as interested. My brain's not as sharp. I can't be bothered. So therefore, for me, if I'm doing reach outs and asking people to join my business, you know, or, you know, inviting to something, my energy is best in the morning. So I need to harness that. That's when I do my reach outs. That's when I have the best ideas. That's a really good time for me to run my business. In the evening, I'm not as inspired. I'm not going to get the cool ideas. My energy's not there in my voice, you know, like I'm just not quite the same. So know for yourself. Whereas Danny, you guys don't all know her, but anyway, she's an evening person. So she'll quite often message me at like 10 o'clock at night, because that's when she's like up and about. And then I'll get back to her like 5 a.m. because, yeah, the complete opposites like that. So, you know, I guess just knowing yourself, knowing when you're at your best, and that's when you really need to be doing your reach outs and running your business. If I'm creating slides and stuff, I can do that at night, but the actual in-person conversations I need to personally do in the morning. So when you are time blocking, take that into account and just know when you're at your best. Podcasts, okay, always growing. Your business will only ever grow as much as you do. So podcasts when you're walking, driving, cleaning, whatever it might be. Debbie Neal, Ed Milet, like, you know, we've got loads of recommendations. So if you need any recommendations, by all means, reach out. But yeah, just always learning. And again, I find that when I'm listening to the podcast, that's when I get my ideas. Like I listen to Debbie Neal and then I'm like, oh, you know, and it inspires me. And then I think, oh, and I wanted to reach this person or talk to this person. So, you know, really being intentional with your time and, you know, what you're feeding your brain with will lead to, you know, business growth. Personal development is just something that if you're newer to the team, you might not be that familiar with. It was something I thought was like, I was just like action, action, action. And I thought personal development was like, oh, it doesn't really, it's not going to bring me any QV. So I just wanted to be taking action all the time. But it's funny because I'm the complete opposite now. Action will not only get you so far, like you need to be doing the personal development. And yeah, Vic's given a great analogy about one being the left leg, one being the right leg. And if you're not doing both, we'll just be going around in circles. She said it way better than me. But, you know, the idea is that basically you know, it's about taking, you know, not only inspired action, but aligned action. And I do believe that we attract certain things. And in order to do that, you know, you need to be on a certain sort of level, you need to be growing yourself. And yeah, so it really is important to be doing personal development. Action breeds confidence as well. So if you're not feeling super confident in your business, especially if you have just started, you need to fail forward. You need to fill your calendar. The only way, well, we say you learn as you earn, basically. You need to do a couple of shitty workshops. You need to do a couple of shitty business chats. You know, you're not going to probably be amazing at everything straight away, but every single time you do them, you get better. Okay, so, you know, I'm sure my first workshops weren't amazing. We would read from scripts and all of the things, you know, and I highly recommend if you're doing a workshop that, you know, reading from a script or following some prompts on a computer is, yeah, very, very helpful. But yeah, you've got to be good to get great, right? You've got to start somewhere. So don't sort of compare where someone's at a year into their journey or even 6 months into their journey or 5 years into their journey as to where you are when you're first starting, okay? It's just practice, practice, practice. Like I know Vic has already with the Discover Arbonnes that we host, like hearing her last week with Britt, I was like, holy shit, like she's just, you know, like just the growth in even how she speaks, you know, but that's because she's been practicing and she's been doing it. So it's the same with everything that we do. Planning out your QV goals. So at the start of every month, and we do usually go over this, you know, at our first trainings, looking at your calendar and looking at where your QV is coming from. Because it, you know, we need to be intentional. We need to know where it's coming from. So like how many events do you have booked in? Who are you talking to? Who are you giving samples out to? How many people are you asking to join your business? You know, I want you to be so confident in what we have to offer. Like, honestly, this opportunity is insane, especially like we went to Vegas, the amount of success that we saw there. It is like, why is everyone not at least trying this and running with it so far? You know, like it's just being so confident in what we have to offer. And we have the systems, we have the products, we have everything that we need. It is literally just about asking people. And you know, you've got to ask a lot of people to find the right one. So, you know, asking one or two won't get you there. It's like literally that you've just got to ask and ask and ask and be really confident. And just touching on really quickly as well, the golden number is 40 faces a month. Talking to 40 people a month, whether it be business chats, giving out samples, having an event, you know, whatever it might be. 40 faces a month is what is going to grow you a very strong and sustainable business. Okay, so there's again in the Getting Started guide, there's a little 40 faces thing you can print and you can mark people off as you speak to them. And it's also quite empowering because you like every time you speak to someone, even if you get a no, you're like, sweet, that's one closer to you, yes, every time you mark someone off. Yeah. Remember why you started. And the work-life balance is a myth. And it's so true. Like we talk about balance all the time. Have I got another slide after this? We talk about balance all of the time, but very rarely are we in balance, right? Sometimes your business, like I know Rebecca, all of a sudden you had all these people join, like you're out of balance, right? You're like, holy shit, left, right, and center. I've got launches, I've got first steps training, you've got, you know, this, that, the other, you've got questions firing. So you're a little bit out of balance. But then everyone's up and running and things even out again. And it goes back the other way. Sometimes, like I go on holidays with my family, I'm not running my business like hard out. That's a family, it swings the other way, and I'm spending time with my family. And that is the beauty of what we do. We have that flexibility. But I think striving to always be in balance, I actually think that's just not how it always is. As I said, sometimes it's more one way and sometimes it's more the other way. Oh shit, I always talk for so long. Okay, I really want to get Britt on here. Okay, so I do want to touch on this. Can you guys see that? I've got your faces kind of in the way. All right. the 4 types of human behavior. I just read this book called Surrounded by Idiots. It was a great conversation starter in the sauna. But it was so, so interesting. And it is actually so helpful, not just in Arbonne, but in life, in dealing with people and learning, I guess, also like not to take offense when people don't behave in a way that you would expect them to, or in a way that you would behave, like in conversation. And I guess the premise of the book is basically you can talk to like a certain group of people and they'll all understand you and get you and your vibe and everything will be great and they'll think you're hilarious and it'll all be wonderful. But then you could have the same, like say the same things to a different group of people and they might just all look at you like and just not get you at all. And you'll be like, oh, okay. And, you know, basically he's saying you just think everyone else is an idiot if you don't get along with them. But it's not the case. It just means that everyone is really, really different in how they communicate. And I'll touch on this really quickly. So a red person is, and you're also more than one color. So you might be predominantly one color, but most people are a mix of 2 and sometimes 3. Okay. So we'll all know a red person. They're usually a leader. They can come across as rude or blunt sometimes, but it's just they don't care for fluff in conversations. Okay. So this person is not going to be messaging you with a bunch of emojis. They're going to be messaging you like quite blunt and to the point. You might think, oh, have I pissed them off? Like, have I done something or said something? But it's just how they communicate. If you're talking to a red person, like get to the point. Yeah. Move quickly. If you're sponsoring a red into your team, like don't bother wasting your time like trying to butter them up. Get to the point, show them what's possible, be confident, and show, like let things be done quickly and efficiently. Reds also don't care what other people think. So that's not going to be a concern for a red person. Yeah. A yellow person loves to have a chat. Hi. So they're quite talkative. They share everything. They tell all of the stories before getting to the point. This is 100% me. I'm very yellow. They're very big on vision and going with their gut instinct. Yeah. So things have to feel good for a yellow to make a decision. So if you're sponsoring a yellow person into the team, you know, you want to get them excited. You want to paint that big vision and really like show them what is possible. Ask about the kids, the family, like they want to have that relationship talk. They'll want to be your friend. Yellows have lots of ideas, but get bored on the details and following through. Okay, a green person might be harder to sponsor because they don't like change. But if they do join your team, they're going to be very loyal and get the job done. They're very empathetic, collaborative. They value harmony and relationships. They're calm, considerate. They're good listeners, and they make a really good asset to any team. And I think also it's really good to have all the different types on the team as well. Very diplomatic and good at team building. So if you're talking to a green person, build trust, and emphasize teamwork and stability. So a lot of this is also being able to, like, I guess, you know, we want to have relationships with people. That's what we do, is we build relationships, and being able to identify what someone is as well. And then a predominantly blue person is very analytical. So they're interested in the facts. So pay close attention to, they pay close attention to detail. They're very logical, methodical, and organized. I could be further from a blue as possible. Don't try to sell the big vision to a blue, because they're just going to think basically they're just going to roll their eyes. They're not interested in that. They are the opposite. If you told them that you're just doing something followed on gut instinct, they'd just be like, well, that is just stupid. Like the completely different, to the yellows. So they're slower moving than the other colors, but they also won't make mistakes. All right. They can be big overthinkers. And if you're talking to someone who you think is blue about the business, again, don't lead with vision. Show them the stats and the facts, and show them that we've got a system when it comes to running a business. So I just thought that was like, that's a real short take on, like, obviously it was a massive book and there were so many takeaways on there, but I just thought it was really, really interesting. But on that note, I'm going to shut up because I want to hand over to the beautiful Britt Hewitt. Now, the reason I'm handing over to Britt is, if you don't know her, this woman is amazing. Like, Britt's been in the business for quite a long time, and she's quite red actually, so I probably shouldn't butter her up too much, but she's very much a leader. But she's been in the business for a very long time, and she not only does Britt sell a lot, but like we've got a makeup masterclass coming up, and Britt's just like sold so many tickets. Like any incentive that comes up, any deal that Arbonne puts out, Britt is just so onto it, and always just blows me away actually. And she's one of the busier people that you will know, but as we say, busy people get things done, and I think Britt's very good at doing little snippets, like little bits and pieces in her moments of time. So on that note, I'm going to stop talking and I'll hand over to you, Britt.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I've just like run in from Pilates, eaten dinner, brewed my Arbonne detox tea, and here I am just in the nick of time. So I am extremely busy. But yeah, Sarah just asked me to come on and just talk a little bit about, I guess, making the most of your Arbonne business. So here I am. I won't be very long, so we'll be very, very mindful of time, but we don't need to be too long. So the luxury of being in business for quite a long time, and that would be 6 years now for myself, is that I have established a really great business, and I have quite a lot of customers. So that's fabulous, because normally they're watching my stories and they are fairly interested in Arbonne. But I think the number one thing to remember is Arbonne is a priority for us because we're running a business. But no matter how much your clients love the products, it is not a priority for them. I know other brands that I love, they might have a sale and I missed it, and I was like, I'll go in my head, oh, well, they'll be on sale again next time and I'll grab it. So just remember that even though it's such, we love Arbonne, we love the products. I mean, look, my clients do as well, but if they miss a sale, they're not like, falling in a heap. They kind of know that another sale is around the corner. So I think it's really important to keep that in the back of your mind, because there's so many sales constantly. I mean, I know, just watching workout brands and things like that, like literally every week, one of them is on sale. So I could buy something. And Arbonne, for many people, are not the only nutritional stuff that they use or the only healthy food that they use. I mean, many of us use Chief, the protein bars, or the Cacao Collective cacao that we use, and a number of other things. And people are obviously balancing their finances and jumping on those sales as and when. So it is really important for us to remind them why they want to give us a portion of their paycheck, because that's basically what we're asking for. So whenever I see an opportunity, so I've got a business and I'm always looking for opportunities, because number one, I really want my clients to get the best deal. I for myself, I guess, being a little bit later in life, it's not really all about money for me. I really do harness the relationships that I have with my clients, and I would rather them get a better deal and myself get less commission, knowing that they're super, super satisfied. So, for example, we've just had the masterclass come up. And straight away, even though I was putting that on my socials, I started messaging people direct. It is not enough to put stuff just on your socials. And I can't reiterate that enough. Look, it's probably a ton easier when you've been in the business 6 years for me, 10 years for Sarah, or something along those lines. We can write off our social media a little bit, and we're not even as good as social media as you young guys out there. I shouldn't just say young, but some of you are phenomenal. But it's really important, even though I put it up, so you always want to think about those several touch points. Just because someone sees a sale, and like we all know, this one that we've got on at the moment, the flash bundle sale, ends on the 31st of July. So the minute I saw it, of course, I put something on my socials, but I think, heading out the door to go teach a group fitness class. I couldn't give it a lot of time, but that doesn't matter. It's the first touch point for our customers. Maybe they're also driving out the door to go to work or whatever. So they've seen it. I don't have time to do anything about this now. And so having the consistency, again, I put it on my socials yesterday, I put it on today, then intermingled with my life and what I'm doing. I've also then, if you're comfortable doing a little live on your stories or a live on your Instagram or your Facebook groups, I've done another touch point by kind of explaining it a bit more, because some people might see things, and I don't know, Sarah's the same. We're kind of at that phase where we're needing glasses. So sometimes when people put things in really little fonts, I'm like, I'll have to get back to that later on. But again, another touch point. So I put it in text by putting some visuals up. I've done a live, or I've done something on my stories, or I've spoken about it for people that are maybe multitasking at the time. And then I sit down, and talking about the 40 faces, I start sending messages. So again, the same thing happened with the masterclass. Saw the opportunity. I'm a business owner. I'm looking for opportunities to come up. Right, now I need to make some time in my day to spend maybe a little bit extra. And that's why we we don't say, oh, you have to spend an hour on your business every day. Sometimes you'll spend, 1 hour, and sometimes you'll spend 3 hours. Every night I've sat down and thought, right, I've got the masterclass. I'm going to send 20 messages tonight about the masterclass, and then I'm going to send 20 tomorrow and 20 tomorrow and 20 tomorrow. I set a goal in my head about the messages that I'm going to send. The same with the flash bundle sale. I only had 4 days notice for that one. So straight away I was like, okay, bye masterclass makeup. I'll get back to some of you and follow up some of those. But now my priority has shifted. I've only got 4 days to execute this. I mean, I know that I've got extra mascaras tucked away for the masterclass anyway. So it's just so important to, again, I'm going to say it for the third time, remember that Arbonne is not your customer's priority. Even if they love the Green Gut Glow, never miss a day taking it, there are other things going on for them. And we've got a wonderful company, and they do quite a lot of sales from time to time. So our customers get to know that things go on sale as well. So hopefully most of you, if you've done your first steps training, if you didn't, there is a white Arbonne app that you will have downloaded on your phone, and that allows us to see orders broken into who's ordered in the last, week, 2 months, and so on. So I go through all of those and use the follow-up button to either message them. And look, life's so easy now. Back in the day, we had to log onto the dashboard, find our customers, put in the SKU. Like, it was really, really labor intensive. But now you can just sit down on the lounge in front of your Netflix, get it open and start running through your customers if you've got a good customer base. Now, I've got a couple of girls that are quite new starters as well. And again, to focus on the flash bundle sale, I have set them a challenge of doing X number of messages a day, messaging their market, which aren't even customers yet. So again, just speak to an upline or something about the way to message, because we don't want any icky messaging going on. And it's great when you've got relationships with people, but when you're branching out, sometimes it's great to get someone to look over a message before you send it. The other thing that I would say as well is I found this flash bundle sale. This is one of the more expensive ones. People have to spend $360 to unlock the $55. Sometimes they only have to do a PC order to unlock a sale. But riding off the back that I've just finished the 30 days to healthy living, or certainly will by the weekend, I know that I have an audience that has been watching me go through that journey. I declared that I was doing it at the beginning. I've posted, as Sarah said before, screenshots out of the accountability group, comments, from our clients. I have spoken to my audience about my experiences as I've gone. I've showed pictures of my food. I'm piquing people's interest, even if they aren't in that journey. And now I'm in the perfect position to say, hey, for those of you that have been watching my 30 Days to Healthy Living journey, if you order it before July's out, you're also, for an extra $55, going to get all these extras as well. So I guess the principle of that is you can't sit back and not get in on the programs. It doesn't mean that every single, obviously we've got 7-day fresh starts running every other week. Of course, you're not going to do every single one of those, but take the opportunity. Make sure that you have in your mind that you're going to do the 30 Days to Healthy Living. Most of us consultants do that twice a year. And obviously doesn't always have to fit in with us. You guys can break off into branches and look at running your own ones as well, when, as long as you're running that with an area manager or above, and sort of speak to Sarah about that, because sometimes we do try and let the broader network into, because we're sharing and caring. You know how Arbonne is. We share and care. We open it up to broader audiences. But just by doing those programs or whatever's on offer, it does give you the opportunity. And I know it was so great when we did the program about 6 weeks ago, just by the nature of the universe, the pack went on sale the week after it finished. So then all these people that had been watching my stories about, I think Sarah did that one as well with us, it literally went down to $144. We did that. And then just recently, like this month, it's gone on sale for $144 again, but it's still fresh in people's minds that I did it not that long ago. And they still maybe were interested, but maybe they didn't have the money. Maybe they were just still questioning whether it was for them, all of those sorts of things. So I really do encourage you to show up to things, turn up, and really embed yourself in it, because you never know, by you doing something or you turning up and doing the makeup masterclass, even if it's just you turning up, you can get all that footage on your stories or your social media. And then, you know, you never know, there might be a makeup sale next month and boom, you've piqued some interest. So yeah, I just guess as an Arbonne consultant, you've got to throw yourself on, you've got to look for opportunities, you've got to make the most of opportunities, and that means programs that are running or specials that are happening. And then don't think for 1 second that posting on your social media is enough. I have seen people with thousands and thousands and thousands of followers not make it in this business because they just think that they can post things and to their audience and people are going to buy. It is about the relationships, and it is about, you know, sometimes it's bloody inconvenient when Arbonne posts a special and I'm like, shit, I've got such a busy weekend, I don't have time to start messaging. And look, there's a couple here and there that I have to let slide by because maybe I'm on a plane going somewhere. But on the whole, I'm like, right, I'm going to move stuff in my diary like Sarah just talked about. I'm going to shuffle. I'm just literally, if you get the message set up in your notes, it's literally a copy and paste. And I love a little tweak to individualize it for each person. And 20, 20, 20, 20, you've got 4 days of that flash bundle sale. So when you hang up tonight, you really want to be sending out 20 messages because you've only got 2 days for that flash bundle sale. And that really is what's going to help you to build a really, really solid Arbonne business and customer relations.
That's Fizz from earlier.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Britt. And that's it. We are in the relationship business. We build relationships in person and we build relationships online. So as Britt said, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, it is that personal touch. I've had people as well, like even one of the ladies that's coming to the masterclass, I messaged her, she goes, oh yeah, I think I saw something about that. I'm like, you did, you saw it on my stories. Like I know that she, do you know what I mean? But people don't pay attention. Whereas you think, oh, they've seen that, they'll message me if they want it, but I still had to physically message her until she was like, oh yeah, I think I noticed, yeah, there was something happening. I'm like, yeah, do you want to come? She's like, sure, send me the link. Do you know what I mean? So it really is that, yeah, the messaging and being a part of the groups, guys. So when we open them, like I said, whether or not you're doing the program, you're always welcome to be in there. It's always good to have feedback and, you know, other consultants in there. But as Britt said, putting it on your stories, it's a perfect segue because again, yeah, for both of us who've just been doing the 30 days, we're like, oh, everyone's been watching, so now they can get the pack and get all these extras. So I'm going to leave it there because we have gone over time because we always do, because there's so much to say. And I even had more, but I'm going to save it. I might go live in the team page. But thank you all for jumping on, and I'll let you all get back to your evening. And last one, we've got the DA happening. We have got a DA happening. Actually, I'm not going to talk about that yet because we're not even going to worry about that. I'll pop it in the team page. All right. Enjoy your evening, everyone.